Welcome to NASCAR No. My name is Terry Burchett, and I'm here to tell you everything you need to know about NASCAR. Our top story today, the little teams and how they affect NASCAR. The Carl Longs, the Morgan Shepherds, the Tommy Baldwins, the Jeremy Mayfields, the Robbie Gordons of NASCAR. How do they affect NASCAR? They don't. They don't make NASCAR any money. You can't sell their merchandise at the NASCAR store. What are we going to do with them? NASCAR made a decision. Let's find ways to find them. Let's find infractions from them. And let's see if we can get them out of our sports. We got to make the Hendricks, the Joe Gibbs, the new Stewart Haas organizations bigger, stronger, and make more money for NASCAR. Carl Long, are you serious? $200,000 suspension, $200,000 fine, 12-race suspension. For what? For using a second-hand engine all this time, which probably had less horsepower than 99% of the motors out there on the track. Come on, NASCAR, let's be serious. Not only did you tell this man he couldn't compete in the Sprint Cup any longer, you told him he wasn't allowed to work on his crew in the Nationwide Series. You took food out of that man's mouth, NASCAR, and for what? For your own pocket? Shame on you, NASCAR. Robbie Gordon. Y'all didn't think I remembered Robbie Gordon, did you? Now, I'm not a Robbie Gordon fan, but I respect Robbie Gordon and what he's trying to do as a man. And let's be honest, if he wants to race, he should be able to do it. NASCAR says he shouldn't, and here's why I believe they're telling him this. Robbie Gordon got third place a couple of weeks ago because of a rain-shortened race. Surprise, surprise! All those wonderful points he just earned disappeared when they inspected his car. Did I know it was going to happen? I expected it to happen. And Ed Hinton once said on NASCAR Now, I apologize, Ed, I messed up your name. Ed Hinton once said on NASCAR Now, if NASCAR wants to get you, they will. And guess what, NASCAR Now? I haven't seen Ed Hinton since. You know why that is? Because he is the one man in NASCAR who reports on NASCAR and says what truly is going on and what he truly believes in, not what NASCAR asks you to report. Did NASCAR tell you, NASCAR Now, that you wouldn't have a show any longer if you put him back on the air? I believe so. I may be wrong, but show me I'm wrong. Put him on the show. I want to hear what that man has to say. As a matter of fact, Jeremy Mayfield. Let's talk about Jeremy Mayfield. Jeremy Mayfield is a great driver. Yes, he's had some ups and downs on his road, but let's be honest. Methamphetamines? Let's be serious now. The one man who had the most to gain from throwing Jeremy Mayfield on the bus was on your show, Ray Evernham. Of course, he could have said many things about Jeremy Mayfield. What did he say? In all the times I knew Jeremy Mayfield, there was no way I would have even believed that that would have been the case. Congratulations, Ray Evernham. You have earned my respect. If you didn't have it before, you definitely have it now because you truly said what was happening no matter what the circumstance. Now let's be honest, NASCAR. Claritin D. If I go to my local pharmacy right now to purchase some Claritin D, I have to show my personal identification. I have to sign a release form that says I don't live in a trailer park and I'm not going to go home and put it in some boiling water and try to make a drug out of it. It's already a drug. I take it to be, Carl Edwards says, Claritin Clear because he only drives Claritin Clear. Well, let's be honest. If he drives Claritin Clear at 200 miles an hour, I don't believe it anymore because he would have tested positive as well because methamphetamines is an agent in Claritin. We all know this. It's expected. That's why they make us sign the release form. That's why they keep it behind the counter. But let's be honest. Carl Edwards, are you really driving Claritin Clear at 200 miles an hour? Obviously not, NASCAR says by your test results. Because if you can't drive 200 miles an hour Claritin Clear, how can a guy like me, just a normal everyday American, expect to drive 55 using Claritin D? I can't do it. I'm starting to believe that you don't use Scott's Weed Killer either. But who am I to say? Anyway, Adderall. Methamphetamine agents in Adderall? Are you serious? Of course you're serious. It's a pharmaceutical drug that's used to mellow you out. That's exactly what it's used for. If somebody has an ADHD issue, they have higher levels of certain things. They take a drug to counteract that. How come Stephen Wallace hasn't tested positive? Rusty Wallace, I love your son. He's a great race car driver, but let's be honest. He's on some medications. NASCAR has claimed that Jeremy Mayfield violated his contract by being on medications in which to balance him out. Well, how come Stephen Wallace hasn't gotten that same countersuit? It doesn't make any sense, NASCAR. I don't believe it. So NASCAR, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to get the little guy off the track so that you can make more money? That's what I believe. That's what the fans believe. Let's talk about double file restarts for a second. Great idea, NASCAR. It was great that you immediately came up with something to try to divert the fans' attention from the little guy, the Jeremy Mayfield, the Carl Long, the Robbie Gordon, the Morgan Shepherd, because you needed to, because you knew a $200,000 fine and a 12-race suspension, it's excessive, but maybe we'll get him out of the sport. An indefinite drug suspension? If NASCAR wants to get you, they will. Right, Ed Hinton? That's what you said. I believe it. Now, one other thing. Ricky Craven. Ricky Craven, I'm going to now call you Ricky the Robot. Why are you the robot? Because you are NASCAR's voice. If NASCAR says jump, you say, I believe we need to jump just a little higher because NASCAR said that's what we need to do. Ricky Craven, you don't say what you feel. You say what NASCAR says you need to feel. Let's be honest, Ricky. You had one win that had any significance. The win where you traded paint with Kurt Busch coming to the line. Now, are you a great race car driver? Obviously, because you made it to that level. But that is the only win that gives you any significance in this sport. And I'll bet you if NASCAR came to you today and said, Ricky Craven, we found an unapproved adjustment several years later, and so we have to take away that win, you would figure out a way to justify it in your mind that NASCAR made the right decision so that hopefully you would get back in, you would stay in their good graces with NASCAR, and hopefully you would get another shot. I'm disappointed in you, Ricky Craven. Find your own voice, son. It's not right that you always believe that NASCAR says is the right thing to do. Now, last but not least, here's what I propose to the little teams, the one-car owner teams. It's like wrestling, okay? We all know wrestling's fake. We know it, but we watch it, and we love it. So let's be honest. I think NASCAR's starting to script their own things too. That's just my personal belief. So here's what I believe. All you one-car teams, Tommy Baldwin, Jeremy Mayfield, Carl Long, Morgan Shepherd, y'all need to get together. Y'all need to get together and make one big powerhouse team. Call it the NWO, the New World Order. Put out some black flags with some big skull and crossbones on them. Fight back against the power that is NASCAR. NASCAR does not have the right to control the sport the way they do. Yes, it was a sport built up from grassroots. Yes, NASCAR, you've done some great things over the years. But now, NASCAR, all you're saying is if the check isn't big enough, we want no part of it, so we're going to get the little guy out of it. My name is Terry Burchett. I'm reporting for NASCAR No. You now know the things you need to know about NASCAR, and I appreciate you hearing me.